welcome to the season premiere of the show. I'm Anthony Alford, and it is great to have you with us. We are here in Bowling Green, Ohio. BG. I just felt like Conan O'Brien just now. It's unbelievable, I'll tell you. Been here for almost 2 weeks now, and like I said, we've been rocking down here at BG, but I want to, later on in the show, I'm going to show you the books. Matter of fact, I'll show it to you right now. Just portions of books, just books. Now I'm bankrupt. Just kidding, I'm not bankrupt, but I will be soon by paying for these books. Well, on our premiere date, today is September 1st, 2010, Wednesday, and on this Wednesday, the story that has taken over college football is the Big Ten. The Big Ten, which earlier this past summer added Nebraska, and now have decided to, split up their divisions. Split it up. The biggest outcome out of this is having Ohio State and Michigan in different divisions. First off, I'll offer you my opinion on this particular development in a moment. But let me tell you what's going to be happening. The two divisions, the Big Ten has came up with a creative name for this. It's not the Big Ten North or the Big Ten South or East or West, because none of it really makes sense. You got Division X and Division O. How clever names for divisions. But then the ACC also has the Atlantic and the Coastal divisions, which you can't top those. But here's the divisions. Division X is Illinois, Indiana, Ohio State, Penn State, Purdue, and Wisconsin. And then Division O is Iowa, Michigan, Michigan State, Minnesota, Nebraska, and Northwestern. 6-team divisions. 2 of them, 12 teams in the Big Ten, starting in 2011. I mentioned something back in June. I did the show. I mentioned something back in June. And what I said was that this college football alignment stuff is a cancer. A cancer to the game. And I'll tell you more about that when we talk about BYU. It's a cancer. Luckily, the death knell wasn't that 5 schools from the Big 12 was heading over to the Pac-10 to create a 16-team conference. Luckily, there were some schools that had the sense to not get involved in a monopoly, in a superpower of sorts. Here's more details about, now obviously with 12 teams, now the Big Ten can have a conference championship game beginning next year. The Big 12, which will have 10 teams, can't have a conference championship game, but the Big Ten, which has 12 teams, can. Does that make any sense? I thought so. So, here's some stipulations on the schedule, and you can find the schedule somewhere on the internet. But each school, and this is from the Big Ten, official Big Ten website, pt.2. I'm getting this article straight from the source. Each school will play the other 5 schools in their divisions within its, as I said that, and will face 3 teams from the other division, including, I want to stop you right there, because I want to prepare you, because the biggest conflict was, you heard the story earlier before the release. Was Ohio State and Michigan going to play each other at the end of the season like they have had since 1943, since World War II? Those 2 schools have faced each other. I know Michigan has had some down seasons, but it's tradition. Ohio State versus Michigan has been responsible for having some type of impact in a Big Ten champion the last 14 times out of the last 15 years. So you would say, how can the Big Ten just tear that apart? Just to have a potential that those 2 schools will be in a conference championship game. Let's break it down even more. Each school will play the other 5 schools within its division and will face 3 teams from the other division, including 1 cross-division matchup guaranteed on an annual basis. Guaranteed on an annual basis. Those matchups are Illinois versus Northwestern, Indiana versus Michigan State, Ohio State versus Michigan, Penn State versus Nebraska, Purdue versus Iowa, and Wisconsin versus Minnesota. It says here at the end of the article, names for each Big Ten football division will be announced at a later date. It has been announced. The division with Ohio State in it is Division X, and the division with Michigan in it is Division O. The Big Ten championship will be in Indianapolis this year, at Lucas Oil Stadium. So there's news for you. There's news for you. So, fans, you don't have anything to worry about whatsoever. You know why? Because even if Ohio State has nothing to play for, they already clinched the division, but Michigan has everything to play for, and they face each other that last regular season game, and let's just say, I don't know, Michigan crushes Ohio State, to only again meet the very next week. Does that make a lot of sense? I have my thoughts. Oh man, we're going to really get into this issue. We're going to really get into this issue. Because we're entering a phase in this sport in which we have never seen before. We have never seen before. The grandfather days of tradition is being tested right now, and it's being revolutionized. I'll explain that theory when we come back.